Welcome, age of vintage society. Julian Newmar has been breaking hearts since 1966, when she slipped into her body-hugging catsuit for the superhero TV series Batman, opposite Adam West and Burt Ward. She starred as seductive villainess Catwoman, who easily lured viewers across the country. Why was Julian Newmar the perfect Catwoman? Make sure to watch the video until the end and leave your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, join our wonderful community by subscribing to the Age of Vintage channel. She was called the sexiest actress, madness and brawler. She is an inventor, a Catwoman, dancer, singer, beauty with the most sensual lips, and a businesswoman. All this is about the American actress and dancer, Julian Newmar. Let's get this straight right from the start. Julian Newmar's performance as Catwoman in the 1960s Batman television series set the gold standard against which all other Catwomen would be judged. She was the first actress ever to play Catwoman in live action. She left such an indelible mark on audiences that even today, more than 50 years after she played the part, she's still the Catwoman for many fans. Newmar is absolutely electrifying. She brought a dancer's elegance and grace to Catwoman's movements, masterfully using her physicality to express the character's innate playfulness. Every time she slinks into frame in the catsuit, you can practically feel the heat radiating right through your screen. Her sexual chemistry with Adam West's Batman was off the charts, and their shared scenes were the highlight of any given episode. Both actors understood the series' camp overtones and leaned into them hard. It's joyous to watch them masterfully deliver innuendo-laden lines with a wink and a nod. Newmar raised the bar impossibly high, and only one actress since has been able to match or even surpass it. That's impressive. Newmar's legacy is unimpeachable. She did it first, and she did it with such charisma and flair that we've all been living in the shadow of her greatness ever since. Former Catwoman Julian Newmar has become accustomed to having men divulge their fantasies to her. Her coveted costume, which was made just for Newmar's famous hourglass figure, and while one may assume that there was a grueling process to become one of the most recognisable characters in comic book history, Newmar insisted nabbing the role was simple. So often men would stop me on the street and tell me I was their first turn-on, the Tony Award-winning actress told Fox News, and I would have the nerve to ask them how old they were. People would often tell me about their sexual adventures when they were 14, 15, 16. Julian Newmar was born Julia Charlene Newmar on August 16, 1933 in Los Angeles, California, to Helen Jesmer, a former dancer with the Ziegfeld Follies, and her second husband, Donald Charles Boomer Newmar, a former Los Angeles Buccaneer football player who coached football and ran the physical education department at Los Angeles Community College. Her mother was said by Eddie Cantor to have the most beautiful legs in the Follies. She retired Ziegfeld dancer of the 20s. We can easily understand the two sides of Julie, her sharp intelligence and her remarkable beauty, resulting in a most fascinating individual. She has two brothers, Peter Bruce Newmar and John A. Newmar. Her father also taught engineering at the college and was knowledgeable enough to build a 5-bedroom, 4-bath home in Los Feliz for his growing family. They had to fill in the waterfalls to keep her younger brothers from drowning, but her father built his children a jungle gym and even a dollhouse where she could play. From an early age, Julie studied classical piano, ballet and every form of dance her mother would drive her to lessons for, graduating high school at 15, then spending a year in Europe with her mother and brother John. She performed for the Los Angeles Opera as a prima ballerina. She graduated from John Marshall High School and then joined the UCLA. On her UCLA entrance exam she scored a 99, but her academic life would last only a few weeks, as the thrill of a cinematic career would take over. But she quit after 6 weeks and joined Universal Studios as a choreographer and dancer. Not yet 18, she was the original Golden Girl. Her first appearance would be in The I Don't Care Girl in 1952. She was barely 17. She made her first credited appearance under the name Julian Newmar as the Gilded Girl in the movie Serpent of the Nile. The small role of her dancing completely painted in gold, wearing next to nothing, turned her into a sex symbol. Julie's career would soon shift to Broadway for Ziegfeld Follies with a minuscule costume, silk stockings and can-can. Newmar's professional acting career took off in 1952 with the role she played in Just For You. Julie, who pursued her passion for dance, achieved her first role on Broadway at age 19 with Silk Stockings. A contract with 20th Century Fox led to Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield-type roles in Hollywood, making her mark in both film and on stage. Newmar's legs were insured for $10 million, except in the event of theft. In a very brief role, just 90 seconds, in Lil Abner, that of Stupefying Jones, Julie played a woman who can turn men to stone at the mere sight of her beauty. She would win a Tony Award as Best Supporting Actress for The Marriage Go Round, this time acting with only a bathroom towel glued on her torso, alongside Claudette Colbert and Charles Boyer. This turned her into a real star, and she would return to these last two roles in their respective cinematic adaptations. To promote all these film and theatre productions, Julie was frequently asked to participate in photo sessions. In those years, men's magazines didn't propose some 19-years-old, 98-pound girl with artificial boobs on their covers. Full-figured women of the 50s displayed natural attributes, which makes it even more impressive. All hail this era, when tight sweaters were in honour and where Betty Page reigned as the great priestess of the pin-ups. Of course, Julie graced many of these covers, even some for musical albums, which fast became collector's items. After a brief time as a blonde, we must admit that the darker-haired Julie is simply ravishing. She was widely considered as one of the biggest sex symbols throughout her career. This was not only for her curves, but also for the sensual and alluring characters she portrayed. With the success surrounding her from her film and on-stage performances, soon she pursued an active TV career. One of her early roles on TV that earned her Golden Globe nominations was in My Living Doll, an American sitcom. She played Rhoda the Robot Girl. This show was aired for one season before it ended after 26 episodes of running. What followed for Julie? Principally many guest star spots on popular television series, of which we can mention Twilight Zone, The Defenders, Route 66, F Troop and The Beverly Hillbillies. But if there's one role that fans still vividly remember, it's that of Catwoman in Batman, which she starred in from 1966 until 1967, alongside Adam West as the Caped Crusader and Burt Ward as his sidekick Robin. This character couldn't be more perfect for her, combining beauty, wit and humour, like the real Julie. Her own brother, an admitted fan of the series, encouraged her to meet the producers. She eventually filmed a dozen episodes in the role, having a great time with the delightful dialogue. Sadly, the difficulty shooting of the Western McKenna's Gold, which came out in 1969, didn't give the opportunity for Julie to play Catwoman in the last season of Batman, or even in the 1966 movie adaptation. Eartha Kitt and Lee Meriwether would replace her with varying degrees of success, and Newmar's relationship with Batman and Robin has endured since the show came to an end in 1968. But Newmar is an inventor too. Everyone's favourite Catwoman holds a patent on a form-flattering pantyhose that will delineate the wearer's derriere in cheeky relief. That love fest is now going national in a big way. Newmar's unique cultural contribution has recently been recognised by the leading cultural arbiter in the US, the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History, enshrined her 22-inch waist, skin-tight catsuit in its permanent entertainment collection. That is a thrill for me, Newmar says. It is satisfying to think that people will be looking at Catwoman's suit for generations to come. It was such fun to play her, Newmar continues. She was a beautiful villainess, cunning and powerful. Batman found her sexy and smart in spite of her criminality. There was a charge there. They shared an intimacy that could explain why audiences loved that character so much. When people suggest that Newmar's Catwoman persona generated the most animal magnetism of any 1960s television character. There's a secret to Catwoman's suit, Newmar recalls. It's all because my grandmother taught me how to sew. After I tried on the prototype of Catwoman's costume, she continues, I turned it inside out, chalked the waistline to make it fit better, and instructed the seamstress on how to sew it up. Wow, couture Catwoman, who knew? From that time on, her movie career would become rather disappointing, as we only list some titles: Hysterical, Street Walking, Evils of the Night, Deep Space, Nudity Required, Ghosts Can't Do It, and Other Bombs. She would appear in many more TV roles: Star Trek, The Monkees, Bewitched, Get Smart, Columbo, The Bionic Woman, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, Jason of Star Command, Chips, Melrose Place, and a handful of made-for-television movies. Happily at least, triumphs on stage were still coming, as she toured for Damn Yankees, Dames at Sea, and Still the Marriage Go Round in the same role that made her a celebrity years before. Since then, Newmar would cement her femme fatale status in film, television, and even Broadway. Today she doesn't mind the recognition one bit. In fact, she insisted that the title was practically made for her. Newmar has done varied television and film work. After marrying and raising her only son, John, who was born with Down syndrome, Newmar divorced, studied at the University of California at Los Angeles, and established herself as a successful Los Angeles real estate developer, with holdings in the La Brea, Fairfax area. I love real estate because it's a creative collaboration between professionals, as well as a rewarding way to take care of myself and my family, Newmar says. In 1995, Newmar resurfaced in a movie whose title bears her name. In the drag queen comedy To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julian Newmar, Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo road trip across the country. Oddly, some lists about the great cinematic beauties seem to always forget Julian Newmar, as they include many overrated bleached blondes. Newmar faced some serious health challenges, for she is slowly losing her ability to walk due to an incurable neuromuscular disease called Charcot-Marie-Tooth, also known as CMT. This affects peripheral nerves which lie outside the brain and spinal cord. They help power the muscles and sensory organs in the legs and other limbs. When asked to sum up her philosophy, Newmar immediately responds with an upbeat prescription. I believe in banishing negativity whenever and wherever it arises. Negative thoughts and comments serve no purpose. They're totally irrelevant to the art and business of life. We owe it to ourselves and to the world to think positive thoughts, she ventures, for these are the basis of a life well lived. More and more, you have to think of yourself as a divine being, she says, her voice purring with confidence. Why shouldn't you be divine? Holy health guru? Thank you, conscious Catwoman. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, and if you want to support my work, please visit my Patreon page. Now it is your turn. What do you think about the life and legacy of Julie Newmar? A key role of her career took the world by storm. She is the original Catwoman, always and forever.